Hello, hello from all everywhere around the world. Hello, hello, welcome to the live session. It seems like people are having a hard time accessing this link. Welcome, welcome to the live session. Feel free to, I can't see who is joined, but I can see how many people are live. So welcome and feel free. Hello, hello. My name is Robert Sifa, Kenyan. I'm so glad you guys could join, and I love storytelling. So part of what I want to do today is just to share part of the stories of my experiences so far, having traveled from Kenya. You know, I don't get to travel a lot and to be with people and share my experiences, but I'm glad that there's this platform where I could speak, my thoughts. I hope this video will be available after the live is ended. So feel free to watch, share, tell your friends to subscribe if they like whatever the topics I'm about to discuss. And yes, I think we should just jump straight to it. So, this is just about those who are really curious about the differences, in the daily lives between Kenya, America, and the rest of the world. So, having lived in Kenya for so many years, and then I finally come here, there were a bunch of challenges, definitely, socially, um, in the way I interact with people, shaped by the way I was raised. So I have a bunch of questions that I've been like receiving through my social media handouts, and I will be going through them. So I know today will not be enough to cover all of them because I have like 21 questions. There's actually a song, 21 questions. But yeah, so I have 21 questions, but I will only be here for about 15 to 20 minutes. Hopefully, those who will not be able to join will catch me on my next live, but I will be discussing the other questions that I could not cover today. So, my first question was about how was my flight? How did I take it? Was it my first ever flight? Yes. So, that was the when I was coming to the United States, that was the first time I ever flew out of the country. So you can guess how challenging that was. So from Nairobi, I was to connect to Amsterdam that is in Netherlands, and I used KLM Airways. The flight was about 12 hours. I left Nairobi at around 11 p.m. It was during those COVID days, so there was a lot of delays. But I thank God I made it in time. And then I reached Amsterdam. There was a 5 hours layover. That would mean that I would wait for the next flight for about 5 hours, which would then take me to Chicago, and that's in Illinois. So the one thing that I could take about all that is when you're flying and food is being passed by, please don't say no. Because one of the things, those ladies were walking on the on the aisles and everything, and they were saying, "Hey, food, what would you like to have?" And I would look at what they have, and I didn't know what kind of food they were, like soups, I don't know, weird things. I'm used to ugali all my life, so I was like, no, thank you. I would think that they would bring something different. So I was hungry most of that flight, hoping that when I land, I would eat some real good food. So as you can guess already, um, I boarded my next flight from Amsterdam to Chicago, and it was 12 hours. So I left at around um, midday, noon. But then, surprisingly, I landed in Chicago at around 3 p.m. But I was in the sky for about 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours, around that time. So I landed over there disoriented because of the time differences. I was like, what's going on? I've been in the sky for a very long time. That didn't sound like 2 hours. So part of it was the time difference. And then on the same day that I was in Illinois, the sun set at around 9 p.m., back where I grew up. The sun would set at around 6 p.m. every single day. 6:30, by 7 it's dark. So this was one of the longest days in my life. I think I had experienced maybe 18 hours of sun on that same day. So I'm tired, I'm jet lagged, um, disoriented, and then all I want is some really good food. Then guess what I go to eat? I'm taking the bus stopped at some restaurant. They call it Subway. Subway is a chain, just like KFC, McDonald's, and all that. So Subways they kind of specialize in sandwiches. So I got myself a foot long. Foot long is kind of close to the length of my arm, and that was the sandwich. It was really, really delicious, and based on where I come from, a sandwich is not a meal. Sandwich is a snack. A meal is like ugali and meat and vegetables, right? Sukuma wiki, something of the sort. That's a whole complete meal. So here I am biting this sandwich, thinking that this is just an appetizer. There would be a nice meal waiting for me, only to realize that this was actually my lunch and dinner. So I tell you, even today, I my lunch was just sandwich. So I carry like bread, and then I put the slices of either ham or chicken, and then you put like lettuce, and then you put tomato, and then you eat it. So it's not many people eat sandwiches for lunch, some people would go to restaurants and get fries and whatever. But the idea of ugali and omena, or ugali and something else, I think that's just a distant dream. So those are some of the things I miss. One of the other thing that I think was a shock on that day was the time differences. So after I had landed and I told you I experienced 18 hours of sun, I did not know what time to call and say that, hey, I arrived, because I don't know, my mind was just taking a little longer to adjust. So as of now, I can tell that right now is 1:16 p.m. That would mean that the Kenyan time is 8:16 p.m. So people are having dinner. But as for me, I'm on my lunch break. So the time difference is a factor, and that's why many people keep saying me, hey, telling me that I don't communicate. I'm hard to reach to. It's because when you guys are actually free to talk, I'm either busy working or doing something, or I'm sleeping. So time difference is a big thing. Hey, while we're still on food, so when I arrived, we were told, international students. I came here as a master's student, so we were supposed to go for orientation. So part of that day's orientation would climax with dinner. So it was a really long day, and we were just walking, seeing departments where we'll be learning, where's the library, where's the labs, where's the classrooms, and all that, where are the fields. So after walking, then the program said dinner. For me, having lived in Kenya most of my life, when you say dinner, it means, what do you see? You guys, you know what it means. If somebody tells you dinner, not supper, dinner, that means that the picture that comes to mind is a buffet. I start imagining piles of rice, piles of chapati, piles of ugali, nyama choma, that is goat roast, roast goat, or roast beef. Um, a bunch of things that are yummy, that will fill you up. So I was on a call with my sister, and she was asking me, hey, have you had anything? And I was like, I don't think I want to eat anything today because we have dinner. So we are going to this grand ballroom and we're going to have dinner. So I want to have all my appetite when I go there to enjoy that dinner, my first American dinner. You don't want to imagine. So it's dinner time, and we all arrive. There's a lot of international students. It was me. There were a bunch of Nigerian students. There were some people from Germany, Czech Republic, Switzerland, international students. So we still don't know much about America, the food and everything. But we're there for dinner at 4:30 p.m. So the first thing I see is fruits. They chopped watermelon, pineapples, grapes, and then a lot of cheese, cheese slices, American cheese. There's so many cheese. Actually, America is big on cheese, so that's one thing. So there was a lot of cheese, and then there were, we call them biscuits. They call them cookies over here. So there were a lot of cookies. Um, what else was there? And then Coca-Cola, you know, the sodas were there, lemonade. So when we arrived, I looked at that and sweets. I was like, okay, so this is the appetizer. I think these are the what they call appetizers over here. So I don't want to fill up my stomach because I know there'll be a main meal. So I'm gonna just have like a few pieces of watermelon, a few pieces of um, strawberries and grapes. I don't even want to taste the cookies because that will fill me up. And maybe let me take a bottle of Sprite. So I did that, and I sat in one of the tables with one of the Nigerian students and other international students. And within a few minutes, the people from the international office came and started addressing people that, hey, we're glad you could make it. We know it has been hectic coming, the process is long. And guys, the process of application is a very long, tedious one, full of back and forths, emails, interviews, and spending lots of money. So, if you want to learn about all that, I know a friend of mine who is starting a channel, and she will be talking about specifically how to help people apply for scholarships and such things. So, keep subscribing to my channel and tuning in. I have so much resources for you guys, and I'll be linking you. So, yeah, I'm your connection. Anyways, where were we? So, yeah, the food, they were addressing people. So I thought, okay, after they address people, they say, it was really nice to see your faces. So once you're done eating, we'll see you again tomorrow for the next round of orientation. And I was so shocked. I was like, wait a minute. So I asked the people that were on my table, I was like, guys, wait, is this the dinner that they were talking about? And people actually, so many people were also shocked, you know. So we were laughing and we were like, all right, so this is the dinner. Oh man. And then I had turned down the offer to eat lunch, and you know, I didn't think of it. So yeah, so most of these company or institutional dinners over here are not like the African dinner. If they say there will be dinner in Africa, in Kenya, or in any other country, guys, don't even eat anything because there'll be food, there'll be music, people will be dressed in fancy ways, you know, like it's a different. So these are these are some of the shocks that I experienced. So you better be prepared. When you hear dinner, eat. Don't expect to be fed. Though this doesn't apply to everywhere. This is just maybe isolated cases, but I'm talking about my experience, okay? What else? The housing. Oh, yes. So, one other shock was after I had reached home, I was so shocked that in the neighborhood, everyone's houses was just next to the road and they were not fenced. Because where I come from, like, you wouldn't see any house without a fence. Every home has a fence, you know, either if it's plant fence or it's barbed wire or it's walls or it's electric, but fences are a thing where I come from. People like to hide their houses and their lives, but here in America, nobody has fenced their home. So you walk on the road and you can see somebody's house. They don't even have blinders. You see people dining in their houses, you know? Yeah, and it's right by the road. So that's one other thing that took me by surprise. So I was like, should I look or should I not look? So uh, I think We should not try that in Kenya. If you have a home, you fence it. But it depends on how secure the place you live in is. Um, so, yes, people, there's security, it's safe. People are free to just leave. When you go to workplaces, there are no big walls around, like big perimeter walls and heavy security. Yes, there's security, but they'll be doing other things other than opening gates for cars and people to enter the premises, you know? So, fencing is not a big thing here in the US. And the housing structures are not as complex as what we build back at home. There are no brick stone houses. The housing structures are very, very simple. It takes very short time to build a house over here because I think they use different materials, mostly wood. So that's a big, big difference. But nearly most houses have ACs. ACs is like cooling the house or heating the house, and that helps during winters or when it's very cold. I'll talk about my first winter in one of my live channels. So please, next time, invite your friends and hear about winters. I sometimes laugh and tell people when I hear people in Nairobi complaining of how cold it is, they'll be like, oh my God, it's so cold. And then I'll be going to Google and I Google Nairobi weather. And it's like only 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm like, guys, I've lived in a place where it goes to zero. So it's really cold. But hey, we're not here to talk about winter yet. This is my first day I'm talking about. I have mentioned the flight, the time difference, the food, dinner, house structures, offices. Roads are big things here. There are roads that have 6 lanes, you know, and that's massive. It's something, yeah. Uh, yeah, there are no borders. Border are public transportation whereby people can pick you up where you are using motorcycles or scooters or I don't know, bicycles. So where I ended up in North Carolina, it was a small town called Boone, and we didn't have that really good public transportation. So that was a big challenge. Um, so that's why I think it helps to have your own car so that you can go anywhere you want because you won't be just leaving the house and somebody's waiting for you. So that's one of the other shocks I experienced. And I want to mention we only have 2 more minutes to end this live session. But one reason people have been asking you, hey, we think that you have every question that people ask me when they text me is that, hey, do you still speak the same or have you changed your accent? And I'm like, I didn't come here to change my accent, all right? I love my roots. If my way of speaking is influenced, then it's nothing to do with me. So one big thing that really happened was somebody asked my name because they heard that I had a different accent, and I told them my name is Robert, and they could not understand what I was saying. They were like, "What? You mean you're a robot? You know, robot?" Bzz, 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 bzz. And they were animating how a robot is, and I was like, Robert. So I've never actually gotten to explain my name before because in Kenya when I say robot. That's what everyone listens to and hears. So that was one different thing that I had to explain my name, because here they don't say robot, they say Robert. Yeah. So people would call me Robert, and I was just new to the USA. And whenever I would say I'm Robert, nobody would understand what I'm saying. So, trust me, it was even awkward for me to say Robert. So, I had to think on my feet and think of my short form that will not involve mentioning the letter R. So I go by Bob for most people here. So when you ask me my name, I'll be like, hey, I'm Bob. So when you hear anybody calling me Bob, know how it came about. So when you hear people changing their accents, most of them, they didn't really intend to, but it's because they want to communicate or effectively with other people. Another funny story was we went on this hike, and we were talking about, it was birds. We were talking about birds because there were a lot of birds chirping and flying around, and I was like, hey guys, you guys haven't seen anything yet. If you think these few things are like the few birds you're seeing here are beautiful and it's fascinating to see, wait until you go to Kenya. In Kenya, we have so many birds, and people could not understand me. They're like, what? I said, yeah, in Kenya, we have so many birds. We have weaver bird. We have. I didn't explain about weaver bird, but we have birds. So when I say birds, people take it literally, BAD. So they're like, why would he tell us that they have birds? For me, I didn't understand how they are receiving the word. So I was shocked that they couldn't understand that I was talking about these two winged creatures with beaks that eat fruits and grains and likes to sing in the morning. So oh man, it's a different world. But yeah, so I had to tell them, I mean birds, for them to understand that. Oh, so they were like, oh, birds. And I was like, all right. Yeah, so accents, language, dialects, those are some really big shocks that I experienced. Yeah, I want to end it there just because my lunch break has ended, guys. It was really great to have you guys join, and I am really grateful to even have an audience of 3 people. I really appreciate you guys and love you, and you are my day ones. I I was ready to share this platform even with one person. So the fact that it's 3, I'm amazed and I'm happy. Hopefully next time each of you will bring 2 friends and I'll have 6 people. So um, feel free to shoot me questions and things you would want to hear more for me to talk about. I told you I had 21 questions. I only discussed 5 today. So I am yet to talk about relations. I'm yet to talk about dating. I'm yet to talk about communication style, the living community versus individualistic. When I talk about communication, direct and indirect, um, sports, matrix system, the things we watch. There's so many things. Working, education. So I only touched 5 questions. I hope that I will catch you guys next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Kenyan time, 1 p.m. American time. Thank you guys for your time. enjoy the rest of your day or night from wherever you're watching. Peace. Bye.